Nope, it's not. In fact, you are dead, sir. Boom. Silver Hand Leader, dead. Dragonling Scales, Fellhammer Mine Key, 200 seconds, and some steel arrows. I'll take that Nordic Dwemer Shield as well, because why not? Some wine, some wheat, some more wheat. Silver Hand Stratagem. Spell Tome Bound Sword. Leg of goat roast, some ale. Okay. You know, I do like your armor, so I'm going to take that too. I don't know why that happened. I didn't try to configure anything. I think that was a bug of some sorts. But yeah, I think, like, there's a certain tranquility that comes with living in a small town that is very easy to take for granted, and you kind of only start to realize that once you're no longer there. And I'm not saying that I want to go back to living in a small town, because I sure as hell don't. I can assure you of that. I did that, and it's not where I want to go. In fact, I want to go even further to the extreme, and I just kind of want to live in a cabin somewhere. You know, I would love nothing more than to just have, like, a wooden cabin that's on, like, the side of a lake somewhere, the shore of a lake, that has fish in it, that, you know, I can take a little boat out into and go fishing every now and then. And I would love to have, you know, all the necessary accoutrements for recording music there, like, you know, my drum set and my amps and such, and the studio setup or whatever, so I could just record shit. I can invite my bandmates out to jam whenever they are able to do so. That sort of thing. And then, on top of that, I really would love to have, like, an older car. Like, I should shoot this guy through here. Oh shit! Lydia, do something. Yeah, go down the hole. Boom.
Bruce?
Okay, I need to heal up a little bit. Shit. Boom. Alright, who's left? Oh, is that it? Oh. Okay, I think that was it. Alright, let's raid these corpses. And, you know, I would love to still have, like, an internet connection and stuff, so I can still post this stuff and have, like, a connection to the world. Be able to talk to people whenever I deem it necessary. And I think I've also realized that, like, you know, even when it comes to things like vehicles, I want to kind of revert back to an older style of things. So my friends in this band called Destruction Derby pulled up to a show that I had booked for them recently, and they pulled up in this old ass, like, 70s muscle car, okay? And this stuff was, it was just so cool, this thing. I, I was just in awe over it because I was surprised that something from that era was being used by these guys, not just for like, car show type stuff. It was being used for utility purposes to like bring their equipment to shows. And I think that unlocked something in me where it was like this perception that I had of vehicles like that was suddenly changed just right there and then. So I think I would love to have a vehicle like that, and I've also been thinking about going back to school and possibly becoming a mechanic, doing that as my day job. Um, but then also like, knowing enough from that stuff to also have that be a means to repair my own vehicle without needing to constantly bring it to a garage that's going to rip me off and make me spend thousands of dollars. So there's a lot of things I've been thinking about with regards to that, and I really just don't want to be surrounded by people all the time. I've always, my entire life, been a very introverted, loner type person. And that's not saying that I don't have friends. I actually have a fairly large circle of friends. There's a group of maybe, I can't tell you off the top of my head, maybe somewhere between 10, 15, 20 people who I hang out with on like a regular to semi-regular basis. And that includes my bandmates, of course. But living in a city where like you don't have an escape from people. I'm in an apartment where I'm just surrounded by people outside on the street all the time. I look out the door and there's people getting in an argument over like the most fucking nonsense shit, and it's just insane. Hearing people like scream at each other right outside my door over shit that like I am not involved in, don't give a fuck about. It's just like, why am I being subjected to this? I realize that this stuff is coming from a point of privilege of also, living in a small town and having been very used to that growing up. But the more time that goes on, the more I realize I just don't enjoy living in a city. I don't enjoy the rat race, having to get up at 5 in the fucking morning, the ass crack of dawn, and like cram onto the metro in like where you're like shoulder to shoulder crammed in like sardines with a bunch of other people who are pissed off just like you are for the exact same reason of having to get up at this fucking hour, this unholy hour, and go to a job that they fucking hate, only to spend like, spending an hour and a half or more in transit just to get to a job that you're going to spend 8.5 hours at, and then spend another hour and a half getting home, and that's like your whole day. That's 10 hours or more gone down the drain. And then you come home and you're expected to do other shit, like, keeping your fucking apartment clean, keeping on top of all this other stuff that in your life, keeping on top of your relationships, your friendships, etc. Maintaining hobbies. How are you supposed to do these things when you spend your entire waking life forking over your labor to some other rich fuck so that you can afford to have the privilege of keeping a roof over your head? It's fucking insanity, and I just don't want to part in it anymore. And obviously I'm not delusional. Like, I know that I'm still going to have to work a job. I was just saying how, I would like to maybe be a mechanic so I can at least get something out of that, whether it's helping other people with their vehicles or being able to fix my own without relying on other people. But I really don't want to be involved in city life anymore. I want to live far enough away from a city where I'm not stepping over other people just to go to the grocery store. But I want to live close enough that I can still be able to, experience things like going to shows and catching bands that I really like who are on tour. Like Pelican was in town last night, and I didn't fucking go. I didn't fucking go because I had too many other commitments. You know why I had too many other commitments? Because I had to be at a fucking job all day. And then I had to go and practice with my band for the tour that we're doing this weekend. And I don't know. Sometimes I talk about this shit and I feel like I'm just the most privileged fuck on the face of the planet to even be complaining about the things that I'm complaining about, especially when, you know, all these other horrific, nightmarish things are happening in the world, like the genocide in Gaza, for example. That's obviously the most, like, prescient thing that's happening right now. Or, you know, all this stuff that's happening with Epstein and that cover-up and such. It's just insane. But, you know, even in the face of all that, I still want what I want, you know? I'm gonna fight these bandits. Damn it. Where are you going? Hey, I'm an elf. Boom. Nice job, Lydia. But yeah, I don't know. The world is a fucking nightmare, and I'm not saying that I want to remove myself from it, because I don't view things that way. You know, I'm just as much a part of this world as you are, as the children in Gaza are, as the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and the wealthy elite are. And I do think we should fight for a better world, but I don't feel like I'm capable of fucking doing anything effective when I'm just, like, struggling to maintain even my own level of happiness. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Perhaps that is the most privileged take of all. I don't know. All the things that I'm saying, I'm not saying as if they're guaranteed or that they're surefire. I can do a one-handed power attack while sprinting that does double critical damage, critical charge. Yes, let's do that. These are just thoughts that I have in my head about my own life and my perspective on the world. And I just think I do a lot better mentally when I am left to be a bit more introverted and on my lonesome. And as the older I get, it's like the less interested I become in bullshit like social media. And that's just like one example, but I mean, social media fucking sucks. And of course, I'm hypocritical saying that because I post on social media just about every single fucking day, because I kind of have to. You have to do that to maintain relevance in a certain manner of speaking, especially when it comes to, you know, being a creative, being an artist, being in a band and such. If you don't do that constantly, people will forget you. And I think it's a double-edged sword of, you know, making you... It's like these companies, like Meta, for example, have figured out a way to monetize your sadness. And, you know, I'm even being hypocritical by saying that shit because I'm here on YouTube, and YouTube is the social media. A lot of people kind of view it as being something separate from social media, but it really isn't at the end of the day. Wow, my frame rate is really ass right now. I don't know why. It's kind of driving me insane. But I think over the course of the next year, I'm going to make some big changes in my life. I am going to really work towards putting less focus and emphasis on social media in general, no matter what, whether it's YouTube or Instagram or Twitter or Facebook or any of these other dog shit scum-sucking platforms that have just sucked the soul out of humanity and raped creativity. That's how I view it, honestly, at the end of the day. And I just don't want a part in it anymore. So yeah, I think over the next year or so, there's going to be some big changes in my life with regards to just the way that I approach things. And yeah, I just want to try and work towards having a life that's not based in a city. Rant over. Let's turn in this quest. Hope y'all enjoyed me rambling about nonsense. No, I don't usually do that on here, but I would like to do more stuff like that. More just like talking about things that I care about in my life. Hey, Aela. What's
I've
up?
been running interference for you around here. I don't think anyone's caught on to our little campaign. Yet. Have you been bringing the battle to the Silver Hand, friend? I wish I could be there with you. Soon enough.
Oh, well, I guess let's read the stratagem first. Oh, I guess we can't even do that. Yeah, it's a miscellaneous item.
I hope the
I
hunting
got the
goes
plans.
well. Perfect. Hopefully this will let us know more about their movement. I think we've got them on the run.
What's the next target?
I've been hearing rumors of Silver Hand activity. A group of them has holed up in East March. Run fast, my friend.
Alright. Well, I'm going to leave it here for now because I have a lot of other stuff to do before I head out for that show, and then I have to fly out to Newfoundland later on in the morning, like super early in the morning. My flight leaves at 8, so I got to be at the airport for 6, and there's doing a bunch of construction around the airport, so that means I probably should leave the house at 5, and I have to make sure my bandmates are ready and good to go at that time, and that we can get an Uber, and it's just a whole thing. So yeah, thanks for watching and listening to this installment of the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Hope you enjoyed my rambling and ranting and raving about bullshit, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace out.